chat, you may recall, a couple days ago, that we watched a video about forgotten sci-fi movies that deserve a comeback. Do you guys remember that? It was only a couple days ago, but do you remember that? Chat, it is time for round 2. We have part 2 of 20 forgotten sci-fi 90s movies. Silvervale? Oh, God. Thank you. Oh, God. I swear, you guys are gonna be the death of me. No, Silvervale's another VTuber, rat bastard. She's a very popular VTuber. Actually, Silvervale, has, I've seen, I don't know if she still has it. I saw one of her stream openings. She actually kind of has like an animated stream opening. Where it starts off with basically, the Skyrim opening. Where, oh, you're finally awake? You gifted one to Charlie, Canito? Oh, God. She's still, okay. Well, I mean, I like the beginning of it because in the beginning of it, in the first, like, 5-10 seconds of it, she wakes up in the Skyrim cart and she's tied up. And she looks hot. So, I like the beginning of her intro video. 'Cause of that reason. Anyway, let's get into the video, shall we? Hey, hi, class 1999.
Remember how much you loved our first video about forgotten 90s movies? Well, guess what? We found even more hidden gems. The 90s weren't just about Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park. There were tons of smaller sci-fi movies that most people missed or forgot about. We're talking killer robots, time travel adventures, virtual reality nightmares, and some seriously weird stuff that could only come from the 90s. Get ready for 20 more forgotten sci-fi movies that'll make you want to dust off your old VCR. Let's dive in and discover some crazy films you won't believe actually exist. Freejack, 1992.
This was a great movie. Freejack, I'm reasonably sure. Little side tangent. I'm pretty sure Freejack is the first movie I ever saw that had a 9 Inch Nails song in it. It's like, it only lasted for like 5, maybe 10 seconds, but it actually had a 9 Inch Nails song playing in it. At one scene. It was where he was wandering the streets, I think just before he gets to the church? And I can't remember if it was playing Head Like a Hole or if it was playing, I'm pretty sure it was a song from the Pretty Hate Machine album, but it was a 9 Inch Nails song that was playing. But the movie itself was really good. You know, Emilio Estevez, Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins, Buster Keaton, fucking Mick Jagger. I mean, Mick Jagger was fucking great in this movie. He had such personality throughout this entire movie. It was a joy to watch it.
Die. Is only a heartbeat away.
Let's kick things off with something totally
And it was great, Tybo.
A movie where rock star Mick Jagger hunts down Emilio Estevez in the future.
What? Announcer! Why would you pronounce his name Estevez? It's Emilio Estevez. Is it an AI voice? Is it? Do they use AI voices? I don't know. I thought it was an actual guy that was doing the narration.
No, I'm not making this up. This is Freejack, and it's as wild as it sounds. Picture yourself watching a race car driver zooming around the track when boom! He gets zapped into the future right before a deadly crash. But here's the really messed up part. In this future, rich people can take over other people's bodies when they die. Talk about a weird way to live forever. The whole movie is like a crazy chase scene, with our confused hero running through this dark and gritty future city.
And Eisneth, thank you for the follow. Yeah, that is the thing with this movie. It really was like 2 hours of like one big chase. There honestly was not that much downtime with the movie. It was literally just Mick Jagger constantly chasing Emilio Estevez throughout almost the entire movie. So it was like a big ass adrenaline rush, and everybody in it was great, honestly. And Kindly Minute, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the live version.
Trying to figure out what's going on. Every time you think it can't get weirder, it does. There's Anthony Hopkins looking super suspicious, and Mick Jagger having the time of his life playing the bad guy. Solar Crisis, 1990.
I haven't heard of this one.
Flare, and then boom.
Same reason somebody or something.
Remember when everyone was scared about the sun exploding in the year 2000? Solar Crisis took that fear.
Chat? Clarification, please. Was everybody terrified about the sun exploding in the year 2000? I didn't think that they were. The biggest thing for Y2K was everybody thought the computers were gonna crap themselves. With the occasional person saying, the Mayan calendar ended in 2000, that means the world's gonna end.
And ran with it. But instead of just another disaster movie, we got something way more interesting. The story follows this group of astronauts who have to fly super close to the sun, like dangerously close, to save Earth from getting cooked like a hamburger on a hot grill. What makes this movie special isn't just the big space mission. There's all this drama back on Earth, secret plots, and really tense moments where you're not sure if anyone's going to make it. The special effects might make you giggle now, especially when they show the sun looking like a giant angry fireball. But that's not what matters. It's the way the movie makes you feel. Mindwarp.
First, Mini Womps, thank you for the follow. But this, I have to wonder. Did the movie Sunshine take some notes from Solar Crisis? Because how many of you guys have seen the movie Sunshine? Came out probably what? Late 2000s, I think? It was God, I can't remember the director of it, but it had, had a bunch of like significant actors in it. I know Chris Evans was in it. Oh God, what are their names? Cillian Murphy, I think, was in it. I can't remember what the other guy's name was. It had some good names in it, but like the whole concept of Sunshine the movie is the Earth's sun is dying. And in an effort to basically restart the sun, this giant ship, I don't remember Michelle Yeoh being in it. It's been a while since I watched that. Benedict Wong. That's right. That's who was that. That's the. I couldn't remember who that was. Yeah, Benedict Wong. I don't remember if Michelle Yeoh beat. No, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. She was running the oxygen farm. You're right. I just remembered, Lord Ravens. That's right. You're correct. And they're on this like giant ship, basically, although it looks like a satellite, heading for the sun because they basically have to dump the most nuclear of bombs into the sun to try and restart it. And, you know, it's both sci-fi, but it's also like a mystery, with some elements of horror built into it. So I'm kind of wondering if Sunshine took some notes from Solar Crisis in how they presented their story. Because it was a good movie. I thought it was a great movie. But it's the whole concept that you have to fly to the sun to do something to it.
1992.
The rest were left behind. Turn up.
Yes, previous mission failed. Yeah, that was it.
You guys ever play video games and wish you could actually live inside them?
And well, Johnny, thank you for the follow.
Mindwarp takes that idea to a super creepy place. Bruce Campbell, yeah, the guy from Evil Dead, stars in this dark story about a future where most people spend their whole lives plugged into a virtual world. Sounds comfy, right?
You know what? I have not seen this movie, but I did see a review of it. Who is it that did the review on it? I think it might have been Decker Shadow. I think I saw a review of this by Decker Shadow. I'm reasonably sure. Hey, it's Buzz fucking Campbell. So, how can you go wrong?
Well, not for long. Our main character gets kicked out of this fake paradise and has to survive in the real world, which turns out to be a wasteland full of crazy underground mutants. It's like going from playing a fun game to being stuck in a nightmare you can't wake up from. The movie gets pretty gross sometimes with all the mutant stuff, but that's what makes it fun. Plus, watching Bruce Campbell fight his way through this messed up world is always entertaining. Think Matrix meets Mad Max, but way weirder. Circuitry Man, 1990.
What?
No longer human. I love the power of the underworld.
Let me tell you about one of the strangest buddy road trip movies ever made. In Circuitry Man, we've got this android dude who teams up with a human woman to smuggle some super valuable computer chips. But wait, they're not driving on regular roads. Nope, they're cruising through underground tunnels in a post-apocalyptic America. The best part? They're being chased by this completely over-the-top bad guy who's also an android, and he's got this creepy pleasure bot sidekick. I know it sounds totally crazy, and it is.
Pleasure bot? Pleasure bot. I am intrigued. Yes, I am intrigued. Show me the pleasure bot, please.
It is. The whole movie feels like someone watched Blade Runner and thought, hey, what if we made this into a road movie with more jokes? The special effects are pretty low budget, but they make up for it with some really cool practical makeup and wild costumes. It's like a punk rock music video turned into a sci-fi movie. Class of 1999.
Oh, this was a good one.
Including 29.
This was a good movie. Class of 1999? Or Class of 1990? This was... Chat, have you seen this one? Has anyone seen Class of 1999? It's, you know, it's... Bearing in mind, you know, it came out in 1990. So this is like in 10 years, the future was gonna be dystopian. Gangs were gonna like rule the streets. The way they have the schools is like when the kids still had to go to school, but they were all heavily armed and they had to check their guns in when they come into the school. And the solution was they took 3 military robots, supposedly reprogrammed them to be teachers, and shock of shocks, the military programming kicks in and they basically start killing everybody. But the thing was, they didn't just flat out, like, right from the get-go, just go crazy and just start slaughtering people. They were actually doing it sneakily. First they were doing, like, severe discipline in the classroom. Pam Grier, when one guy in her class, like, she's teaching, like, science class, and he's being a asshat, she walks up to him and she basically, like, crushes his foot with the heel of her high heel. Another guy who is like an older guy, like, was smoking a pipe the whole goddamn time. And when someone in the class he was teaching got mouthy, he literally, two of them actually, he actually spanked them so, like, he grabbed them and started spanking them so hard that I think it knocked them unconscious. And then the coach, one of them was, like, the coach for gym. He was, like, the gym teacher. And he just kind of beat the shit out of him. And, like, after that, they actually started, like, doing, like, subtle subterfuge to get the gang members, like, the two gangs, to fight each other. They started, like, they would kill off a gang member, but make it look like the other gang had done it to try and facilitate, like, a gang war. So they were doing, like, covert ops and shit. And it wasn't until the end that they basically just went balls to the wall, kill everything. So, I mean, it was a great fucking movie. And yes, it has Pam fucking Grier in it, so win.
Imagine your high school, but way scarier. Class of 1999 shows us a school so dangerous that they decide to use robot teachers to control the students. Great idea, right? Wrong. These robot teachers don't just give detention, they turn super violent when students misbehave. The movie stars Malcolm McDowell and Pam Grier as...
Well, starring Malcolm McDowell is a stretch. Malcolm McDowell is in the movie for all of 10 minutes, maybe, combined total. He's barely in it. He does not star in it. The star is the teenage, quote-unquote, teenage leads. He plays the principal and the father of the female lead. And he's in it for, like, maybe 10 minutes. That's it. Stacy Keach is in it too, and he's also in the movie for about 10 minutes.
Some of these robot teachers, and they're seriously creepy. Like, 1 minute they're writing on the chalkboard, the next minute they're going full Terminator on troublemaking teens. The whole thing takes place in this rundown future where schools are more like war zones. The special effects are cheesy in the best way possible.
Oh, I'd say Pam Grier was more of a draw. Gray matter.
It's
G
like
matter.
Breakfast Club mixed with RoboCop. And somehow...
Because Pam Grier, she had just as much name recognition as Malcolm McDowell, and she was in the movie a hell of a lot more. So I'd say it was her name that was bringing people in more than Malcolm McDowell. I'm guessing they probably had his name prominently, but Pam Grier was just as big of a draw. And she actually had a big role in this too.
How it totally works. This is one of those movies that's so crazy, you'll want to watch it with friends.
True.
Mandroid, 1993. Ever built something cool, only to have your best friend try to steal it?
Is this what I think it is?
That's kind of what happens in Mandroid.
No, it is not.
But instead of a school project, it's a super advanced robot. Two scientist friends create this awesome robot that can be controlled by a person wearing a special suit. Pretty neat, huh? But then things get messy when one friend decides he wants to sell the robot to some really bad people. Before you know it, we've got robot battles, betrayals, and some seriously weird science experiments gone wrong.
Interesting idea.
The robot itself looks like something you'd see in a heavy metal music video, all chrome and hydraulics, moving around like a human, but definitely not trying to
I don't know
look
about
cute
calling
like
it
other movie
chrome,
robots.
but
The best scenes are when the robot goes into action, crushing things and throwing bad guys around like rag dolls. Not exactly high-tech by today's standards, but that's what makes it fun. TC 2000, 1993.
Wait, this
If you love
sounds familiar. I don't think I've seen this movie, but again, I think I saw someone review it. I want to say I saw Jason. I want to say I saw Jason Brandt and company review this one.
Martial arts and robots, boy do I have a treat for you. TC 2000 stars, Billy Blanks.
Yep.
The Tabo guy, kicking robot butt in a dark future.
Tabo. Someone needs to teach this fucking AI voice how to speak. And yeah, I never saw this movie, but I saw the review of it from Jason Brandt. And, like, they love Billy Blanks. Yeah, they got him, Jason got him, or not Jason, but, like, he got cast in the movie that Jason was working on, the Kumite movie. I mean, when I watched the review, they show a lot of the scenes from it. It looked like a fun movie.
The coolest part? He plays a cop who gets turned into a cyborg after some...
That's right, it's Billy Blanks teamed up with, what's his name? Oh god, I can't think of his name. Chat, help me out. I'm blanking on his name. It's, hang on, him! I cannot remember his name. His name is escaping me. No, Dwayne, Bolo, thank you, Rap Acid. God, I can't believe I forgot his name. Yeah, Bolo Young. Yeah, Billy Blanks teamed up with Bolo Young in this. And Dwayne, I don't think that was the movie that Jason worked on. I don't think it was called Only the Strong. No, The Last Kumite. That's the one that Jason worked on. It was called The Last Kumite. Yes, and he's from Bloodsport. He was like the bad guy from Bloodsport. Jean Lee, I think. I think that was the character's name. I forget how his name was pronounced. Chom Lee. Yeah, Chom Lee.
Part, he plays a cop who gets turned into a cyborg after some bad guys take him down. The whole movie is packed with crazy martial arts fights where Billy shows off his awesome kicks and punches. There's this underground city where poor people
was a
live,
great movie.
while rich folks stay up top in their fancy buildings. Our cyborg hero has to protect both worlds from some seriously nasty criminals. And get this, Bolo Young, the super buff bad guy from Bloodsport, shows up as one of the villains. Sure, some of the cyborg makeup looks like they bought it from a Halloween store, but watching Billy Blanks roundhouse kick...
Yeah, and by the way, Billy Blanks wasn't the cyborg in this movie. His partner was. His partner...
makeup looks...
Oh, I forgot, and it's got Matthias in it. Yeah, I forgot Matthias Hughes was the big bad guy in this movie too. As Matthias. But, shit, I passed it. It wasn't Billy that was the cyborg. It was this woman, his partner. She's the one that got turned into the cyborg, not Billy Blanks.
Watching Billy Blanks roundhouse kick evil robots makes up for everything. Cyber Tracker, 1994. Ever had a problem with your computer? Well, in Cyber Tracker, your computer might have a problem with you. Don the Dragon Wilson stars in this wild ride where the government creates robot assassins that look exactly like humans. These cyber trackers are supposed to take out criminals, but surprise, surprise, they start targeting innocent people instead. Our hero has to fight these perfect killing machines while trying to expose the truth about who's really controlling them.
Yeah, the 90s sometimes struggled when it came to original storylines. This is not... cyber trackers go rogue and they have to pull in the human guy to take him out. Not exactly original.
Best scenes are when Don Wilson uses his real-life kickboxing skills to battle the robots. And since they look human, you never know who might turn out to be a machine. It's someone watched Terminator
it didn't matter. That's
what if we add more
the sci-fi guns were always looked awesome in these kind of movies.
The robots are super creepy, and there's even a twist ending that'll make your head spin. Project Shadowchaser, 1992.
What's this?
Imagine Die Hard, but instead of Alan Rickman, the bad guy is a killer android. That's Project Shadowchaser in a nutshell. The movie takes place in this huge skyscraper where a bunch of people are held hostage by this super strong platinum blonde android who looks like he raided a rock star's closet. The fun part is watching our hero, an ex-cop who's in
What is
jail,
that?
get released to save the day because he's the only one crazy enough to take on a robot terrorist. The android is seriously tough. He throws people around like toys and shrugs off bullets like they're mosquito.
I don't know if it's Brian Bosworth. I'm trying to figure out who the android is. Cause I almost want to say that the flat top android looks kind of like Dolph. I don't think it's Dolph, but he kind of looks like him. Yeah, I don't think it just
Crazy enough to take on a robot terrorist. The android is seriously tough. He throws people around like toys and shrugs off bullets like they're mosquito bites. What makes this movie special is how it mixes action movie cliches with sci-fi weirdness. Plus, the android bad guy is so over the top, you can't help but love to hate him. American Cyborg, Steel Warrior, 1993. Ready for a post-apocalyptic adventure that feels like someone described Terminator to their friends, but got some details wrong? American Cyborg. Steel Warrior is exactly that kind of movie. The world's been destroyed by nuclear war, and most people can't have babies anymore. But wait, there's one woman who can, and she's trying to get to a ship that'll take her to safety. The problem? A super tough cyborg is hunting her down, and this guy just won't quit. Luckily, she meets a mysterious hero who helps her survive in this ruined world. The whole movie is basically one long chase scene with lots of explosions.
Wait. Yeah. Okay, G-Matter, I was gonna ask, is this the sequel to Cyborg? Because the plot is the same fucking thing. It's just instead of it's a woman that can have a baby, they're trying to get a cyborg to a bunch of scientists with a cure to this disease that has ravaged the whole planet. Oh, but is this actually the sequel to it? Because this one's called American Cyborg Steel Warrior. I'm reasonably sure the Cyborg sequel was actually called like Cyborg 2 or something. I think, I don't know. Somebody look it up. Somebody look up and see if American Cyborg Steel Warrior is the sequel to Jean-Claude Van Damme's Cyborg movie. I don't think it is.
Robot fights and 90s style one-liners. The cyborg looks like he shops at the same store as Universal Soldier rejects, but that's part of the charm. It's
they might have typo.
Action-packed, and proud of it. Terminal Justice, 1996.
Wait. Why did they just show? They just showed footage from Project Shadowchaser with the American Cyborg Steel Warrior clips. Why the fuck did they do that? And yeah, wait, Shadows and Angles? No. The big bad in Tango and Cash was not the guy, the big bad from Lethal Weapon 2. Tango and Cash was, God, what's his name? Jack Palance. Thank you, Red Bass. Yes, Jack Palance was the big bad from Tango and Cash, also from Batman, and from City Slickers. That's who's the big bad. I forget the name of the actor who played the big bad in Lethal Weapon 2. The only thing I remember is he was also in the Mighty Ducks movie.
Here's a weird one. Terminal Justice takes place in a future where people are addicted to virtual reality. But this isn't just any VR. It lets you experience life as someone else. Our main character is
Lorenzo
a cop who
Lamas?
discovers someone's using these VR systems to commit real murders. Spooky, right? Things get super trippy when he starts diving into virtual worlds to catch the killer. Half the time, you're not sure what's real and what's fake. Kind of like if the Lawnmower Man and Basic Instinct had a baby. The virtual reality scenes are exactly what you'd expect from the 90s. Lots of weird colors.
Really, Andrea? So you think that with the American Cyborg Steel Warrior, you think that actually was in the movie where they reused the footage? I wasn't sure if the person who put this video together actually cut in footage from Project Shadowchaser. I mean, I do know that they did reuse footage. I don't know if they would reuse that footage though, but I don't know.
Floating shapes and graphics that look like screensavers. But that's what makes it fun to watch now. Plus, there's a twist ending that'll make you question everything you just saw.
It was all a simulation the whole time. Betcha that's the twist. He was in a simulation from the very start.
Digital Man, 1995. Get ready for one of the craziest military robot movies ever. Digital Man is about a super advanced android soldier that goes totally haywire during a test mission. Think of it like Universal Soldier meets Short Circuit, but with way more explosions. The robot looks like he's wearing leftover armor from a Power Rangers show. But don't let that fool you. This guy's seriously dangerous.
Oh, it's
He's
Matthias!
got all these cool weapons built in.
It's fucking Matthias! It's Matthias Hughes!
To his body and can even turn invisible. The army sends in their best soldiers to stop him, but it's like trying to stop a tank with a water gun. The best parts are when the robot goes full Terminator on a small desert town and nobody can figure out how to stop him. There's this great scene where he walks through a hail of bullets, like it's just a light rain. Talk about unstoppable. Psy Warrior, 1989
Psy
to
Warrior?
1990.
I have not heard
Here's
of
a
so
movie
many of
that's
these.
So 80s, 90s, it hurts. In a good way. Psy Warrior takes us to a future where everything's gone wrong. Shocking, right?
Yeah.
What makes this one special is our hero. A cyborg who looks like he spent way too much time at the gym. Fighting against an evil corporation that wants to turn everyone into mindless robots.
Well,
the whole thing.
The cargo, androids and humanoid machines were like, you have to remember, when did Terminator come out? When did the first Terminator come out? After 84. So after Terminator came out and was a huge hit, everybody was like, okay, androids. Let's do androids. And they just fucking ran with it, and androids became the staple for probably the next 10 to 15 years. Because it was like the zeitgeist. And think about, when did, I cried so hard at the end of Bicentennial Man. The end of Bicentennial Man made me cry. It was so sad. Like, it was a beautiful story, but it made me cry. But like, also, when did T2 come out? Remind me, what year did T2 come out? Wasn't that like mid-90s? I think. So like androids were a proven quantity. Yeah, it's like 91, 93, something like, and it was 91. Okay. So think about it. T2 was a cyborg. And it was one of the biggest it still is one of the biggest movies of all time. So Hollywood said, androids. We have to do androids. Because T2 did so much better than T1. They're like, suck yeah, this is it. And they just plugged in and just said, android, 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 android. Sark and Drago! Hi, guys! Welcome, raiders! Welcome on in! How's it going? How was your stream? How was your stream, everybody? Did you have a good time, I hope? You're joining us right in about the halfway mark, where we're talking about forgotten 90s sci-fi movies. And we were just discussing why so many sci-fi movies in the 90s had androids and robots. And we're talking about how T2 came out right at the beginning, and so Hollywood just kind of went, androids, that's the ticket, and everything sci-fi became androids. Okay, Kaibo, have a good night. Yeah, well, we saw Giant Mnemonic in part 1. This one, it looks like part 2 is all about the androids. Honestly. That's like... I mean, I don't know, like, we've got, like, what, 5 or 6 more movies to go through. I wonder if they're gonna all be androids, because so far, they're all androids.
Thing plays out like a video game, with our cyborg hero punching and shooting his way through waves of bad guys to reach the final boss. The best part? Every fight scene is filled with these amazing practical effects. We're talking explosions, sparks flying everywhere, and robots falling apart in the most dramatic way possible.
Red Bassett, they didn't do animated movies. And let's be honest, Ghost in the Shell was more than... Ghost in the Shell is one of the most popular animes of all time. So, it doesn't need a comeback. It was very well known. That was unnecessary. Darkman was not in part 1. Darkman, I don't think would be... It's not sci-fi-ish enough. Darkman had, like, some science with the synthetic skin that Liam Neeson's character was developing, but that's it. Darkman, I don't think is considered sci-fi. So that's not going to be in this one. And no, Eki, we do not discuss the live-action Ghost in the Shell. What's live-action Ghost in the Shell? I'm sorry, I've never heard of that movie. I don't know what you're talking about. The animated one's the only one that exists.
Sure, some of the special effects look like they were made with household items, but that's what makes it so fun to watch. It's like watching someone's awesome robot action figure collection come to life. Mars, 1996.
Wait, is this?
Ever wondered
nope,
what
it's not.
would happen if you mixed a Mars mission with a haunted house story?
Michael J. Fox? Seriously? Michael J. Fox? I had no idea he was in... I'd never seen this movie. I had no idea he was in this kind of movie. Okay, I gotta ask though, why does the quality look like it's 80s? The film quality looks 80s.
That's basically what Mars gives us.
Wait.
A team of
Wait a second. This isn't... Okay, I'm short-circuiting here. This is fucking Mars Attacks! This is goddamn Mars Attacks! It's not just Mars! What the fuck? Okay. First and foremost, this doesn't need a comeback. I don't know. Okay, let's let it cook. But I don't think he's comparing it to Mars Attacks. Well, I'll let it cook.
Astronauts heads to the red planet, but instead of finding little green men, they find something way creepier. The spacesuits look like they were borrowed from a Halloween store, and the Mars surface...
He's not actually showing the footage. What the f... Are we getting fucking baited right now? Yeah. Who's showing Mars Attacks over... Eki, maybe. Yeah, maybe he got copyrighted and simply couldn't show footage from the movie that he's talking about. But if that's the case, why not just cut that part out? And DTS, thank you for the follow. I don't know. I'll let it play through, but he's showing completely different footage.
Someone's backyard with red filters, but that's not the point. The movie gets super intense when weird things start happening to the crew. Are they going crazy from being in space too long? Is there something on Mars messing with their minds?
Yeah,
Or is one of them hiding a dark secret?
Well, no wonder I was so surprised about Michael J. Fox. It wasn't even the same movie.
It's like watching a horror movie where no one can hear you scream because, well, you're on Mars. Memory Run, 1995.
Let's see if this one's right.
Imagine waking up one day in someone else's body. Sounds weird, right? Well, in Memory Run, our tough guy hero wakes up to find out he's now in a woman's body. But this isn't some comedy. It's a dark sci-fi story about identity.
Again, this is not, he's not showing the actual footage. What he's saying right there, when he's describing it, he's not showing the actual footage.
And revenge. The main character was actually a criminal who got caught, and his punishment was getting his brain put into someone else's body. Now he or she has to figure out what's going on while being chased by all sorts of bad guys.
Okay, no, he is. No, he is. It took a while for the clip footage they showing. I think he's actually showing the proper footage.
The movie gets pretty wild with car chases, shootouts, and lots of confusion about who's who. There are some really cool scenes where our hero has to learn how to fight in a completely different body. Plus, the whole thing takes place in this gritty future where brain swapping is just another way for rich people to stay young forever.
Well, I mean, my guess is he was, he's probably using like movie trailer footage for the footage that he's laying down to try and avoid copyright. But it took a while to get to like the first half of that was like, okay, this is not a man whose consciousness has been injected into a woman's body. And it took a while, like halfway through. Okay, Falcon, have a great night. And Curly Demo, thank you for the follow. Zip ties? Yeah, it's also not the first time that sci-fi has done this thing. Has done this of transplanting a brain. There was actually a gritty, it's not really sci-fi-ish, because it's actually kind of grounded in real medicine. There was a movie with Michelle Rodriguez, came out several years ago, it had Michelle Rodriguez and Sigourney Weaver, called oh god. No, Dollhouse? No. I think it's called The Assignment. I think is what it's called. Although it's called like the reassignment. Like the R is in parentheses, where it's honestly kind of trippy. The beginning of the movie, Michelle Rodriguez actually plays a guy, and with special effects and prosthetics, they actually make Michelle Rodriguez look like a guy. They show him fully naked, and you can tell by the face that it is Michelle Rodriguez. They give her like a beard. The beard itself looks kind of bad. The body type looks kind of off, but it's not terrible. But they do full frontal, so she has no tits, and she actually has a dick hanging between her legs. So you're getting like the full frontal on it. So there's no question, like, this is a guy. And then she's a hitman. Or he's a hitman, I should say. And they do, like, he's gonna be doing, like, one last job, and something happens, and he gets caught by Sigourney Weaver, who is, like, a crazy, like, surgeon. And gives Michelle Rodriguez's character a sex change. And so Michelle Rodriguez wakes up, now as actually Michelle Rodriguez, with a bunch of medications like that transgender people take, and she goes on a revenge quest while also trying to deal with the fact that she is suddenly now a transgender woman. And like this, just like the descriptor of this the movie that he just talked about made me think about it. It's like more gritty. It's not like sci-fi because the science is actually like real life science. Like the Michelle Rodriguez's character was actually given SRS and given like HRT meds to take afterwards, even though she was like dumped and the medication was dumped with her. So that's what made me think of that. Yes. Yeah, Linda Hamilton? Oh, I know Tornado. Yeah, so I believe it's The Reassignment. I believe is that Michelle Rodriguez movie. You know, it's a low budget film, but it's interesting. Yeah, well, Revimus is the assignment, but I think the way they advertise is they put like RE in parentheses in front of assignment. Yeah.
Prototype X 29 A 1992. Ready for some seriously old school robot action?
Okay.
Prototype X29 A is about a military cyborg.
Tanashi, would you have it any other way?
Orders. You know, like all good robot stories. But this one's got a twist. The robot starts having memories of his human past, and boy, does that make his bosses nervous.
Wait. If this used to be a human, then it's not a robot. It's a cyborg. Yeah. And yeah, Deem Tavern, yeah, you're 100% right. It's fucking RoboCop or Universal Soldier or goddamn any of these things from the 80s and 90s, let's be honest.
The cyborg looks like they covered a guy in silver
Okay, now they're
paint
calling cyborg.
and gave him some cheap motorcycle gear, but that's part of the charm. The best scenes are when he's fighting other robots and discovering his human side at the same time. There's this awesome moment where he has to choose between following orders and saving innocent people. Sure, the special effects budget was probably less than a used car, but the story actually makes you care about this chrome-covered hero. It's like RoboCop's smaller, less fancy cousin. Automatic, 1995. Let me tell you about Automatic. Imagine if you built a perfect robot bodyguard, but then the bad guys try to turn him into a killer. This movie stars Olivier Gruner as a robot who's supposed to protect people at this big company. He's super strong, follows the rules, and even tries to understand.
What did they say his name was? Hang on, let me hear that again.
This movie stars Olivier Gruner as a robot who's supposed to protect.
Okay, Olivier Gruner. I've seen him in another movie. I forget the name of it. Again, this is another one that I saw Jason Brandt review. He's a martial artist that basically is trying to be Jean-Claude Van Damme. When he does, you know how like Jean-Claude, the type of yells that Jean-Claude Van Damme makes when he's doing like his kicks and stuff. He makes the same yells. Like if you squint just a little bit, you'd actually think that Olivier Gruner is Jean-Claude Van Damme. He kind of looks like him, a little bit not as muscled up as Van Damme, and the yells he makes when he's doing his kicks and whatnot is the same as Van Damme. Yeah,
people at this big company. He's super strong, follows the rules, and even tries to understand human jokes. Badly, which is hilarious. Everything's going fine until some criminals try to hack our robot friend and make him evil. But here's the cool part. His programming to protect humans is so strong, he fights back against the hack. There's this awesome scene where he has to protect the company president's daughter while fighting off bad guys. And you can see him struggling between his old programming and the new evil code. The action is non-stop. And even though the robot effects are pretty basic,
yes, Ravens,
watching this android kick bad guy butt is super fun. Apex, 1994.
This
Ever
one
messed
seems
something
familiar.
up so badly you wished you could go back in time to fix it? Well, in Apex, this scientist actually does it and makes everything way worse. He creates these killer robots to help humanity, but surprise, surprise, they end up taking over the world instead. So he jumps back in time to stop his own invention, but things get super complicated. Every time he changes something in the past, the future gets even crazier.
It's called the butterfly effect. Back to the Future already did this. Change something in the past, you change the future. Yeah, Back to the Future did this. And I'm reasonably sure When did the original butterfly effect come out? I can't remember if butterfly effect came out in the 90s or if it came out in the early aughts. I don't remember. 2000. Okay, so it did come out before butterfly effect. But Back to the Future had already been out. They did the same thing.
The robots in this movie look like walking trash cans with guns, but that's what makes them fun to watch. There's this great scene where dozens of robots...
A game time quick and dirty version. Butterfly effect, it gets its name from a chaos theory, which is if a butterfly flaps its wings in Buffalo, you're going to get rain in Singapore, because the simple act of a butterfly flapping its wings will cause enough ripples in the atmosphere as those ripples traverse across the globe in, Singapore, across the other side of the planet, the atmosphere will change just enough to allow for rain or storm to take effect. In sci-fi terms, the butterfly effect is if you change one small thing in the past, you're going to see monumental changes in the future, because everything that happens throughout time happens because those specific things, those events, those decisions, and everything like that was made. You change one thing in the past, it means all other decisions and all other events are going to change as a result of it. So one tiny thing can cause a massive effect down the line. That's where the butterfly effect in sci-fi comes from.
Cheer 100 Ember, that's Chua's theory. The first part you just described.
I know, Gorthor. I said it was. That's what I prefaced it with, that it was chaos theory. Maybe that didn't come through. Maybe you guys didn't hear me. Yeah, I prefaced the part about the butterfly flapping its wings causing a storm in Singapore. That is chaos theory. That's what I said.
Robots are chasing people through empty streets, and it feels like a nightmare made of spare computer parts. Plus, there's all these cool time travel effects where people and things disappear because the past keeps changing. Talk about a workday gone wrong. Hiroshima, 1995. Don't let the title fool you. This isn't a history movie. Hiroshima is actually a wild cyberpunk adventure set in a future Japan where virtual reality has gone totally out of control. Think of it like The Matrix, but made way earlier and way weirder. The story follows this guy who has to enter the virtual world to save people who are stuck there, kind of like a digital rescue mission. The virtual reality scenes are exactly what you'd expect from the 90s. Lots of bright colors, weird computer graphics, and trippy effects that look like old screensavers come to life. The best part is how they...
Why are we seeing none of that? Did he again not... Was he again unable to... Was he unable to get the video footage again? Yeah, well, we're not seeing stock footage of World War II. We're seeing footage from a World War II movie. Yeah, we're basically into the Mars attack effect again.
Mix real Japanese locations with these crazy computer worlds. Sure, some of the effects look pretty dated now, but watching people battle computer viruses in virtual Japan is just pure 90s sci-fi
This
fun.
kind is getting annoying.
Crossworlds, 1996. Last but definitely not least, we've got Crossworlds, a movie that proves college life can get really weird. This one stars Josh Charles as a regular college student who finds out he's actually the key to saving multiple universes. And guess who shows up to help him? Rutger Hauer. You know, the scary...
I feel like I've seen this before. This one seems really familiar. I don't know why.
And guess who shows up to help him? Rutger Hauer. You know, the scary guy from Blade Runner? The movie is like a crazy road trip through different dimensions, with our confused hero learning how to use magical powers while running from bad guys who can jump between worlds.
I know I've seen this.
There's this awesome scene where they're in our world 1 second, then suddenly fighting in this crazy alternate dimension the next. The special effects for the dimension
I've
hopping
seen
look
this
like
movie.
they were made on someone's home computer, but that just adds to the charm. It's like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure met Sliders and decided to have an adventure together. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride through 90s sci-fi.
I know I've seen
If
that
you love
movie.
these forgotten
I
gems,
can't think
hit
of it now, but I
subscribe
know
for
I've
more
seen it.
hidden
It looks
movie
too
treasures.
familiar.
Drop a comment telling me which one you want to watch first. And don't forget to check out part 1 if you haven't already. See you in the next video.
Well, there were some good ones in there, but the lack of proper video footage on some of those was distracting, to say the least.